Thanks for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts or listen to music. When you have an opportunity, please give us a 5-star review, write a little note, tell us how we're doing. We really appreciate it. It helps us keep this thing going. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us at Facebook at Hidden Tracks. Instagram is at HiddenTracks99, and if you'd like to send in submissions or talk to us or give us any feedback about what we're doing, our email is myhiddentracks99@gmail. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show. What's up, everybody? Another week, another edition of the show. This week, I'm happy again. It seems like we've gone through this quite a few times, but it's pretty awesome that when I have someone on my weekly threes of the three things I'm listening to, and you should too, I get the opportunity to talk to one of them. This week, I have the band Mighty Tortuga. I have Mike, Kevin, and Jacob here with us today. So welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, thanks for having us.
So let's dive in real quick. I mean, who's the best storyteller out of the three of you that I have here today? Can you come to a consensus of who the best storyteller is?
I don't know. It might be a toss-up on me or Jake.
I feel like Jake tells a good story. We've had some good car rides where he's told me some good stories.
All right, Jake, seems like you were nominated real quick. Why don't you...
ready, man.
Why don't you give us a quick rundown of how of where you guys are today, how everything kind of like a quick synopsis of Mighty Tortuga, how it came to be to the faction that is the cohesive unit today of Mighty Tortuga releasing the self-titled album.
So we've all been together now playing music for about 5 years or so, and this lineup came together because we recently had a member change up a couple of years ago. So we kind of got together, locked in, and decided to get together with our boy Fred and start making the full length record. We initially went in to make an EP, undergoing the lineup change, we kind of decided it would be the best time to grab all the songs that we love the most and pack them together with this new set of songs to make the LP.
All right. Now, Kevin, did you, when it came to pulling out the songs for the full length, how did you guys come to the consensus of from going from an EP, which I would say is probably going to be 3 to 6 songs, anywhere in between there, to bringing out a fleshed out album with more than that and spending more time on it? How did you guys pick the songs to go and say, all right, well, if we're going to do this, these are what we got right now?
Well, I think we really wanted to have a cohesive vision, and we stumbled, maybe intentionally / also unintentionally, working with Fred and having his background. We kind of stumbled into this direction that was a little more aggressive rock driven, and I think that definitely influenced which songs we picked to have on there that we had already written or new ones that we were working on. And I think it worked to help challenge us as a band, and especially with the new vocals and the new lineup, I think it's helped us kind of reinvent ourselves as more of a rock band than maybe we were before.
Now, Mike, when this all came down, and you had Fred, you're working with Fred. If everybody doesn't know who we're talking about, Fred Mascherino from Taking Back Sunday, Breaking Pangea, just awesomeness. Color Fred, just I guess a legend in his game. But when you started working with someone like that, and he may have been pulling with things and may have been changing things that you guys were working on, was there any apprehension to where you would end up as opposed to where you started?
Well, I mean, when it comes to like working with producers, anybody that comes in, it's always going to be like somebody else, another hand in the kitchen. But like we really do like appreciate like Fred's input beyond words. The dude is like really smart, but he's also just like super cool. So it's not like imposing, I wouldn't say, but it's super helpful, and we're very much appreciative to have a chance to work with him.
When everything was sewn up and done, I mean, when you guys all sat down and listened to the finished product, what was the general consensus in the room when you were done, when you hit stop on listening to the whole album?
I'm gonna hop in right there for that, if you don't mind. And that when we came through with this new lineup, we had started off with just working on the single "Through Your Teeth." We were just trying to push to get that song out, and it was a bit of a shakeup with having to do vocals on the song all of a sudden for me. I had recorded guitars previously, stepped up onto having to do the vocals as well. And the first time we got the mix back, I'm sitting in my room with my my smile going ear to ear. I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy, what? It sounded crazy.
How did that sound to you, Jake, when that came back?
It sounded like how I always wanted it to sound throughout the years, but we were never really landing on, so it couldn't have been happier.
Now, when you're, say you're searching for something and you find someone that helps you get to that point, which seems like Fred did, and you're all in agreement that it was kind of the best place for the band to get to. What do you think? I mean, I posed the question, Kevin, what do you think may have been holding up prior to getting to where you are now?
I think just the right combination of people. I mean, I like to think that we all kind of have something that works together as a unit. And I think when we became a 4-piece, we really dialed into, here's everybody's strengths, here's how we can kind of enhance certain aspects of everybody and kind of, I guess, for lack of a better term, like bring out the best in everybody.
Now, Mike, when you hear, Kevin say that, do you think, would you agree to that you guys were really working hard to trying to, kind of put your finger on the pulse of where you needed to be and how it was to get there? And do you think maybe that the lineup changed and then sitting down with Fred kind of said, you know what,
holy shit, this is the moment that it comes to the realization that this is exactly what we've been searching for?
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. When the lineup change happened, we were like in the process of working on. When we said we were working on an EP to put out, and then by turning that into an LP, it was like going from almost done to let's do another year of work. So it was really pedal to the metal. And during that time, that's when we found out, like, somehow almost miraculously, like, all the pieces just came together perfectly. Kevin and I both stepping up to vocals. We didn't really know in advance, but we found out after the fact. We blend like perfectly on that together. And then his writing style with vocals and mine come together. It's all just perfect, almost like it was made to be.
Yeah, I mean, and as a listener, I'll agree to it. I mean, hearing some of the vocal harmonies and melodies that come through, and that's usually what draws me to music. I think a lot of my music listening style is just from the time I heard the Beach Boys, it's always been those vocal melodies that I can hold on to, and when it connects in a song, whether it's a fucking guitar driven song or if it's a hardcore song, if the vocals are clicking and there's these awesome layers and melodies, just like when it works, you're just like, holy shit, like that's what I'm looking for.
Well, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Now, I want to dive into your life in music, your lives in music, the early beginning stages. I just mentioned the Beach Boys. I mean, that was the first thing I heard in my lifetime, that when I was a young kid, that made me just be like, oh my God, what is this world that's out there? So, I mean, I'll start with Jake. I mean, do you remember, like, did you grow up in a musical household, or was there like this moment where you heard music for the first time and it kind of like piqued your interest?
Absolutely. I spent a lot of time listening to music with my dad growing up, a lot of the same stuff like the Beach Boys, Jan and Dean, the Beatles, all in that like vein of 60s rock. So music has always like, clicked with me on that level. And that's definitely, what got me into the whole thing as well.
I love the Janet Dean throwout too, because
Oh, hell
most
yeah.
people don't know, Dead Man's Curve. Janet Dean is very, if you like the Beach Boys and you don't like Janet Dean, that means you never listened.
Absolutely.
So from that point, growing up with that and hearing that, when did you kind of start to find your own way other than what your parents were listening to?
So quite honestly, I would say, the first band that I found would be Hanson. I grew up, late 90s, let's say, was when I like could get into my own first thing. And then after Hanson, somehow I found myself into Blink-182. And, from there it goes into Taking Back Sunday, and then we're in the great beyond of Mall Emo.
You go from three handsome little fellas to three other handsome little fellas in your musical outfit. It's funny, the Hanson's A&R original A&R person actually comes into my store and music venue all the time and hangs out and tells us stories of Hanson, which are absolutely hysterical to me.
That is awesome.
That's crazy.
Now, I'll go to you, Kevin, next. Your first foray into music, and what kind of, like, how did you grow up? What piqued your interest? What were you listening to as a kid?
So I come from a really musical family. My grandma met my grandpa when they were at a radio station recording vocals together. And so I grew up with music. On the topic of like boy bands, my mom would take me to see like NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys and stuff. So I feel Jake on that. But it was really when I started going to, my sister would take me to Warped Tour and drive us there, and kind of like power through the sun and make sure we had a good time. And she got me into like Blink-182, Linkin Park. I remember she would get me parental advisory CDs, and my parents would get really mad about that. But yeah, from there it was just an explosion of pop punk, Sum 41, Blink-182, and it was off from there, playing guitar and joining bands.
That early aughts pop punk and power chords is
Yes,
very influential for a lot of them. So
it is. Yeah.
Mike, how about you?
For me, I definitely grew up in a musical household, but in almost like a weird way for me to end up in a band. Both my parents were DJs. My mom's a singer, so I grew up with like knowing everything from the 70s on in terms of pop and mainstream music. But also my parents would get me into stuff like Linkin Park and whatnot. So I was really into that. My uncle got me into playing guitar and playing bass and all these cool bands. But I was really pretty much like a metal kid from then on out until one day something just snapped. I'm like, I just like really need to listen to the Black Parade, and it was, I guess, all downhill from there into the emo domain. As far as playing in bands, yeah, no, it's working an office job one day. It's like, not, I have to do a band. I have to give it a shot. I have to do this. So.
So what was your okay? Well, then we'll continue on. Then what was your first step into, like wanting to play music and be a part of a band? How was it? Did you like beg mom and dad for an instrument, or was it an instrument already in the house that you were playing?
So, to my first step was my brother had one of these, like those Toys R Us guitar. The thing would make your hands bleed. So after like really struggling on that for 1 year, on my birthday, my uncle and my aunt purchased me my first guitar. So
Now, when you got that first guitar, now a lot of children like us are like-minded, and this question will go to everybody too. And you go and find people in the area, other kids in the area that are into music, and you spend an overabundance amount of time trying to start a band without even playing music, and you're just trying to find that band name. What was the first band name you ever came up with a friend?
Red Sauce.
Red Sauce. I love it.
Changing the name to that.
It was given my buddy's dad, who we practice at his house, is like, you should call it Red Sauce.
Is it an Italian man who was just eating pasta all day, or?
I'm the Italian. I'm the Italian.
Nice. All right, Kevin, to you, what got you into music? And then when you finally got that instrument and wanted to start playing, you're going to have to lead up to the first band name as well.
Oh, I don't know if I could top Mike's. I mean, I'm Italian, but I didn't have that one. But no, I got a guitar for, I didn't know how to play it. A bunch of my friends, we didn't really know how to play anything. We just decided, hey, you're going to be the singer, you're going to be the drummer, and tried to figure out the instruments we were playing. And our band name was Interstate 96, which is crazy because it should have been Interstate 95, which is the highway that runs through our home state. But for whatever reason, it was I-96. And we made up the excuse that it's because it's one more than 95. It was like we were moving on and looking to the future or something.
Wide-eyed, cheery kids.
That's right.
That's unbelievable. Is there an Interstate 96? I think, what is that, Michigan or something? I don't know, because I'm I-95 as well. So, because I'm a Jersey.
There is
Jersey. So
there is indeed an Interstate 96.
I would think
in Michigan.
That's what I said, Michigan. All right,
there you go.
Right. All right, Jake, your turn.
So I really just wanted to get involved with music, but I didn't really have the background in that. So I kind of got swept into a couple post-hardcore bands with my friends. The first one would be Sever the Skyline. Just it was during the whole like Asking Alexandria thing that was going on for a while, the Rise Core stuff. And from there, I worked my way into my other pal's band, Miami, and we were doing pop punk and stuff like that.
Now, was that, I mean, the post-hardcore stuff sometimes was easier because it was a lot of screaming, but you still had to have a screaming voice. So, and just play fast. And sometimes it didn't matter if it worked or not. It just, sometimes it would work. Is that kind of what you guys were doing as young kids?
It's like kind of like post-hardcore. You'd have one guy singing, one guy screaming, and like something close to maybe like an Under Oath, but like influenced by like that era of the genre.
All right. When was your first live performance in front of strangers, Jake?
That had to have been in like high school when we were doing that band. My buddy threw a show in his backyard where we had it's a dual stage kind of thing where one garage door would open, the other one would close, and that was probably the first time it was like more than a couple people.
Do you kind of remember how you felt at that moment?
I was jazzed, absolutely excited. Once you get a taste for it, it's pretty hard to get out of your mouth.
How about you, Kevin? Your first live performance ever? Do you remember it, for good or bad?
I mean, I used to love those like garage party shows. Like we would go to like a graduation party and open up the garage and play, and none of the relatives would want to hear it, and it was probably pretty bad. But those are my earliest memories of like playing parties and stuff.
So that was your very first live performance too, was playing one of those parties?
I think it must have been, or like a VFW hall in Connecticut somewhere. But yeah, or we used to have a battle of the bands every year at my high school. That was probably it.
Mike.
My first show ever was one of the backyard shows that Jake was throwing in that garage. We didn't have a bassist. We didn't know how to keep time. It was great.
Nice.
Now, how about your to date, your performance that kind of stands out in the back of your mind, for good or bad? I usually prefer the bad. It makes for better radio. But a moment or a performance where it's just always going to occupy this little sort of space in your brain that just will never go away. Mike,
Is this for me? If we want to do a good show and keep it on a positive note, I would say one that really sticks in my mind was, Heading East Fest last year. That was the first show that we played where I was singing for this band, and it was a big packed room. And, it's weird when you're doing it for the first time. And we did that, and it turned out pretty well. And it was really cool to have the support of the label, the other bands there cheering us on. They knew what we were going through, and that was a great show.
All right, Kevin.
That was a great one. I think a bad one for me personally was we played a festival a couple years ago, and I got borderline heat stroke, so I forgot a lot of the songs that I was playing. So I kind of blacked out during the set, and then came to, but hopefully not too many people noticed. It's like one of those things. Maybe I just noticed, but yeah, good times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that should stick out in your head. And if no one noticed that you got heat stroke, I mean, that's pretty bad on them. That's just, I'm just going to throw that out there.
I hope so.
Okay. Not bad.
Jake, how about you?
I want to keep this, super vague, but at one point I was in a band, and you could kind of tell when the vibe was heading south, and we got on stage, we got finished with the first song, and the lead singer just looks over at the band and goes, "I got nothing." Stone cold. We're going on to the next song. Like, all right, cool, dude. This should be a good one.
I think
That's
that cleared
honestly
out the room.
awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, because the thing is obviously sometimes you go and play, it's not going to be the best crowd as a young band, you know what I mean? And it was actually in New Jersey, and we had about 10 people in that room, and the only 2 people left were related to Kevin, so.
But they had a great time.
Had a great time.
Yeah.
They always do. They always, especially when they're there to support. So going on your own performances, I mean, Kevin, you had said about going to see NSYNC and stuff like that. Now, Kevin, what was the very first concert you ever went to, and then the very first concert you got to pick to go to on your own? The
very first, I feel like it must have been like Backstreet Boys or something. There was a venue, or there still is, but it was like an outdoor venue called the Meadows in Connecticut, and you would get lawn seats. And I remember going to that with my mom, and we were just having the time of our lives at Backstreet Boys. But the first concert I chose to, I think, was the Starting Line in Sum 41, which again my sister took me to, and she managed to get us backstage somehow. And that stands out as being just one of my favorite shows I've ever gone to. Was probably that one.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great first moment of a show you get to pick to go to, and your sister sneaks you backstage.
Yeah,
that's nice.
She just pretended like we were supposed to be there, and then
that's all you got to do, baby. I tell people that all the time.
That's all it takes, man. Yeah.
Jake, how about you? First
So
concert you ever went to, and then the one you got to pick.
I don't know why this is ringing out in my head, but I feel like it was we have a venue by us, and it's kind of like halfway to, like, I'd say an arena size, a theater, I think it's called, and it's one of those '60s concerts I went to with my dad, and I think it was like Tommy James and the Shondells, and they got a bunch of other dudes on tour with them. So one of those packages. That's probably the first show I saw.
Nice,
And the
very
first show,
underrated. Tommy James and the Shondells, Crimson
it
Clover. I mean, Jimmy Eat World used it in their song, so yeah.
no, it's they're goaded, And then the first show that I managed to get to that I chose was Weird Al. Same venue.
Yes.
It was so dope.
That's awesome. All right, Mike, you're up.
My first concert I ever went to, and I'm like big into numbers, so this one's cool. It was my 13th birthday on June 14th. I got to see my favorite band at the time. It was Iron Maiden for the Summer Back in Time tour, so I got to play everything. That was cool.
Wow.
And then the first concert I went to by myself, I like picked to go to, was probably Mayhem Fest. And that year, Children of Bodom was playing, and before they played, I'm sitting around. It was back when I still smoked the bad cancer sticks. Lighting one up, and some guy's like, "Hey, can I use that lighter?" I was like, "Sure." And I turn around and so like, see you later. I'm like, "Whoa." Rest in peace.
And I don't like how you said at the time Iron Maiden was your favorite band. They should just
Well,
still
I mean,
be. I mean, it's
they're
Iron
awesome. I was
fucking
listening
Maiden.
to them yesterday.
Yeah. You come into my store, man, you just see Iron Maiden shit all over the place. Everybody's like, wow, this is a pretty metal store. I'm like, no, there's a lot of stuff in here. It's just I love Iron Maiden. So it's, I had the conversation the other day about Power Slave. Someone's like, so Power Slave. I'm like, yes, it's a symphony. It is an orchestra. It is a heavy metal opus of just perfection. I'm like, just listen to it and you'll be, stowed away to that beautiful place in Giza and be standing on top of a fucking pyramid. It's just so perfect. So yeah, I literally 3 days ago I had that conversation about that album.
I mean, I they're always going to be a favorite band, but you know how it is. Other things have crawled up and taken
I get it.
taking the crown.
You're allowed. Now, on that note, if you had to pick a band that, a band that never lets you down in your life, the band that you constantly find yourself turning to, some people would call it a favorite band. I don't. It's a band that never lets you down that you've constantly listened to. Mike, who would you go with right now?
Because you're saying because they never let me down, it unfortunately gets rid of a ton of my favorite bands. I'd have to go with Pendulum. Pendulum, they even came back after 10 years and didn't let me down. They are always good.
Awesome. How about you, Kevin?
It's a tie between Thrice and Coheed and Cambria. I feel like Thrice in particular, for every stage of my musical life, I feel like they've just grown with me and they've always put out killer records and done what they wanted to do. And then like Coheed's been my favorite band since I was like 13 years old. So they've always stuck with me.
So not to be too on the nose, but I would say Taking Back Sunday. Every record to me has been, going for gold. Can't get better than it for me.
All right. You're allowed to love what you love, right? So fine if it's
it is what it is at this point.
Yeah. Now, what would you say you listen to that people would find be very amazed that you get tons of enjoyment out of listening to it? For me, I've thrown out before, Jamiroquai is one of the ones that people are like, I would never picture you fucking blasting Jamiroquai, but I do. Now, what's yours, Jake?
I'd probably have to say just pop music in general. I've been finding myself, with Spotify going back to like the early 2000s pop music, all that kind of stuff.
All right, Kevin.
Oh, I'm with Jake, man. I like some pop music, but I feel like Touche Amore and like some more aggressive stuff where it's borderline just screaming is my jam.
Mike.
Everyone knows I listen to a bunch of weird stuff all the time, so probably the only thing that everyone would be surprised would be like I like classical music a lot.
It's comforting. It's quieting. I mean, in my truck when I drive, one preset is liquid metal, and then the preset right next to it is symphonies. So it's
Nice.
Oh, yes.
yeah, a little road rage, and it's like, all right, I need to relax a little bit, and then I just hit the very one click, and I'm on to the next station. I'm like, oh, okay, there we are. So I can jam with that. All right, let's get to a personal band question here, and I'll be anxious to see if it's all the same or all different. But I'm going to start with Jake, and if no one ever heard your band, and you told them you were in a band, and they're like, all right, play me one song. What song are you playing for them of yours?
That's a tough one, man. I would say probably the first song off our new record, Let Me Down.
Kevin?
I would go with a song we have called Moving On with Fred on the guest vocals. I think it's a pretty good representation of what we're trying to do.
And Mike?
I agree with Jake. Every time I'm in that scenario, I pull up Let Me Down.
Nice. And listen, it's a great way to start off the album. It's kind of what grabbed me. If I were to pick one, and the one that I have played for people is I Wish I Could Tell You. Like, that's the one that I'm like, here you go.
Nice.
Now, would you say for yourself, Jake, would you say that's your favorite song on the album, or just the song you would play for someone?
I would say my favorite song is Out of Reach on the record.
Okay, great way to end it too. How about you, Kevin? Would you say Moving On is your favorite, or?
No, that's 2 for 2. Out of Reach is my favorite on the record.
And how we doing, Mike?
Same, Out of Reach. That's one of my favorite songs I've ever worked on.
Where
Wow, 3 for 3. I mean, what a wallop. Bases loaded right now. So that's awesome. I love that you did you plan that prior to coming on, or?
I wish we had.
I listen. I think it's a great way to end the album too. I'm a huge proponent of creating something awesome when it comes to an album. So making songs flow together, and then also starting an album off with a great hook that keeps you there to get to the second song is very important. But it's also going out a little lighter, like you do with Out of Reach, and then kind of making you want to start the album over again. Like I say, if you end the album something a little lighter, it kind of makes you want to come back for more, and it wants you craving more. And it's kind of always, well, now I need to listen to it again. Now I need to listen to it again. And now I can't wait for the next fucking thing to come out from these guys, because that was so good.
Oh, hell yeah, man.
Hell
I
yeah.
agree with that.
Now, big moment in everyone's life is the day you get your driver's license and you go pick up your first friend, and you start blasting music in your car for the first time. Jake, do you remember what you were listening to that day when you got your driver's license and went to pick up your first friend?
Yes, I can. It was We Can Roll by the Bad Rabbits.
I love it. I love that.
I waited for the moment. I was like, here we go. Put it on. Let's go.
That's awesome. How about you, Kevin?
It's probably something by Seosin, or there was a band called Forever the Sickest Kids, and I used to have their CD in my car, so it could have been them.
Nice. Mike?
Yeah.
I made it a point that song would be Red Barchetta from Rush.
Why Rush?
Well, specifically that song. It's about, getting in a car for the first time and pulling it for a whip.
The fact that you had that planned out tells me everything I need to know about you. Now, if music had never taken a hold of you in your life, what do you think your life would be missing right now, Jake? If you never grabbed an instrument and you never got to listen to music growing up, what do you think you'd be doing right now?
Quite frankly, man, I'd probably be dead. Music has, formed just about every meaningful connection that I have outside of my family. So, I have no idea what I would have done without this as the catalyst for everything connecting my life.
And is it part of your everyday? Is music part of your every single day?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there was one year of my life where I kind of got real deep into podcasts and I didn't listen to too much music. And that was probably like 5-6 years ago. But before, besides that, before that, that's it. I'm hanging out, listening to music pretty much nonstop.
Have you ever caught yourself in complete silence and realized that something's not on?
If I'm in complete silence, I know about it, man.
Because I have those moments sometimes where, like, I own a record store and a music venue, and like I'll be driving home at night or, late night after a show, and like realize that I'm halfway home and nothing is on. And I'm just like, I don't know what happened. Like, it's almost like you blank out and I'm like, how is the radio not on? How is there no sound going on right now? And then it's like, I have to find something immediately. And what I've been doing recently, which is really funny, is putting on like, if you have Sirius XM, the old radio classics where you hear, hey, see, you hear the old fucking storyteller fucking things. And it just it is the greatest fucking thing to listen to when all of a sudden I realize there was silence and then I get to laugh a little bit. I'm like, all right, okay. I don't know what was going on
with that.
Now, how about you, Kevin? What if music never took a hold of you? Where do you think you'd be right now?
I like that Jake said dead, because I that was my first thought when you asked the question. It's like, no, but I it's similar sentiment. Like, everybody I know in my life is pretty much affiliated with a musician or in the music scene. So I think it'd have a lot less meaning, to be honest, and it's a huge way that I express myself. So things would be a lot less exciting, a lot more cold and gray.
Yeah.
No music.
Mike.
If not for music, I'd probably be in an office somewhere pushing a bunch of buttons, never having lived the life I lived. And I don't know, that's what, like, that's kind of what drove me to it. Was I kind of got a job where I was like, oh man, this could be all I do for the rest of forever, and that would suck. So like, I have to do music.
All right. Now, is there a place now, playing and doing, like Heading East Fest that's coming up soon too again, right? But is there a venue, and I try to keep this out of like playing the LA Forum and shit like that, but is there a venue around that you are like hoping to play one day? I keep the bigger ones out, like MSG, because everybody, Wembley, yeah, but is there like another venue that holds something that you hold in high regard, that's you've never played there, that you just are really looking forward to hopefully being able to play one day?
We've played a lot, but I don't know. I mean, imagine one day we could play College Street. That'd be crazy. That'd be friggin' awesome. Other than that, it would just kind of be nice if the venue stopped closing.
I hear that. During COVID, I mean, I was to my favorite music venue. I was sending money that I had extra because I was like, I don't want this closed. I think I own like 15 Bowery Ballroom T-shirts now because I was like, that place cannot close. I can't let that place close. How about you, Kevin?
Chain Reaction for me in California. I remember like the early 2000s, it was like every band, if you wanted to watch clips of them live, you'd search so-and-so Chain Reaction and you'd pull up a clip of them, like Seosin and a ton of other bands. So if it ever happens, I would love to get out there.
Awesome. Good one. Jake.
I'd probably say like the Oakdale Theater, which is like local to us. I got a lot of history there watching bands that I love, and to be able to get onto a stage that size would, be pretty remarkable.
I think it'll happen. I'm putting those vibes out for you guys. I think it'll happen.
Hell yes, man. Thank you.
I think what you guys did with the album and the people that I've played it for, everybody's like, as soon as I put it on, people are like, who is this? And I love that question. I love putting on music and someone going, who is this? And just being like, yeah, here you go.
Well, thank you so much, man.
Now, if you had a theme song, picture yourself as an individual, and you had to pick a theme song for your own show, like say you're Seinfeld, right? And everybody has a theme song. What would your theme song be, Jake?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I would just go for the Full House theme song. It feels like a nice neutral medium. I can start the day out on an even keel every day, on positive vibes.
I like it. I grew up with that, so I get it. How about you, Kevin?
Golden Girls, but minor key version. So it's like really like effed up and just dark.
Funny story in my life. It was my 40th birthday at the time, and one of my friends hand wrote out this card, and I start reading it, and I was like, wow, this is really nice. And my wife's over my shoulder, and she's like, that is real. I was like, it is the fucking lyrics to the Golden Girls theme song. I'm like, you son of a bitch. And I was like, you get like 6 lines down. I'm like, you motherfucker. I was like, this is so nice. This is and then I was like, you dick.
Thank you for being a friend.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Mike, how about you?
Put up You Know How I Do by Taking Back Sunday. That'd be like a great intro to a TV sitcom.
Nice. What would your sitcom be about?
It'd be fronted as everything's normal, but it's totally not.
How about you, Kevin? What would your show be about?
My show would be just like a Mr. Magoo kind of guy who just does it every day and doesn't know how he does it. Every day is a new day, I guess.
I like the Mr. Magoo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jake.
I mean, it'd probably just be a guy hanging out with his dog, walking around. It'd probably be the most boring show.
You think that, but people would watch it because some shenanigans would happen somewhere. Like your dog would shit, you wouldn't pick it up. Someone would yell at you. You know.
That's how it is, man.
Yeah.
Maybe a good conspiracy. Who knows?
Now, Jake, is there a band that just baffles you because of how big they are, and you just don't understand why?
It's tough because, as my friend always says when we're criticizing a band or something, which isn't often, but every once in a while, he's like, that's somebody's Led Zeppelin. So I get it. Something's got to be enjoyed by
I
everybody.
get it, but
I'm trying to think, man, something that just completely baffles me that's going on. I got no idea on this one, honestly. I feel like
it's okay to criticize. It really is. I mean, I'll do it. I mean, I do it all the time. Like, there's certain bands. One of the best things somebody sent me the other day because they found I'm a Never Peppers. Like, I don't understand the Chili Peppers. I think John Frusciante is one of the greatest guitarists ever. I think Flea is one of the greatest bass players ever. I think Smith is one of the best fucking drummers ever. And I don't understand how the garbage that comes out of them is possible. So
I got one for you.
All right.
Coldplay after their first record. I have no idea how that shit goes on with the stadium around.
I'll agree. Parachutes was fucking great. And then after that, I mean, there's two songs after that I'm like, yeah, after Parachutes, there's only 2 songs.
Yeah, I think besides that, it's Fix Me for me, and then it's still downhill.
Yeah. All right. See, we got somewhere. How about you, Kevin?
That's the pull quote right there. Jake talks shit about Coldplay.
I stand by it.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like as I get older, there are different trends that I don't understand, and that's not necessarily like a band related thing. It's just I feel like people aren't as into rock music maybe as they used to be, but then again, I could be wrong. But yeah, I don't know. That's really tough.
I mean, I understand you guys are trying to play Switzerland right now, but we do need things to pull people into this. So, I mean, there has to be an artist or a band where you're just like, I don't fucking get it. And it's okay to not get it.
I could chime in with one right now.
Yeah.
I'll go to war. No offense to any of your listeners who might like them, but I have no idea what the hell was going on with Kiss, how that worked, why that worked.
Makeup, man. Makeup and fireworks. That's it.
My dad told me a story about them, and he was like, I was so into them, and one day they were going to do Kiss Unmasked. You're going to see who they are. And he goes, and I put it on, and they were just a bunch of ugly motherfuckers, and I never cared again.
Yeah. A bunch of ugly Jewish guys from the Bronx. I mean, that's all it was. And it is to this day. Listen, I love that you fucking laid that sword down, man. I mean, because I've been saying it forever. Like, there is one of my favorite stories of all time that ever came out. So when it comes to hair metal, or you want glam metal, however you want to call it, one of my favorite bands of all time in that genre is White Lion. I just think they great musicians. Mike Tramp was a great vocalist for them. Like, they had 3 albums that I still stand by to this day and will still listen to. And there's not much from that era that I will, but one of the greatest stories of all time is Vito Bratta, the guitarist. He was a virtuoso from fucking Staten Island, right? And White Lion's opening for Kiss. Ace Frehley had recently left, and the show's over, and Gene Simmons walks up to Vito Bratta and says, "Hey, we'd really like you to join Kiss." And Vito Bratta looks at him and he goes, "You guys suck. I would never join you." And like, to this day, that's like the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life. Someone fucking say to Gene Simmons, like, because there's nothing redeeming about their music. Like, it's really hard for me to understand it too, that it was just makeup and fireworks. The songs are not good. The song structure is not good. They have like one song that I'm like, all right, yeah, it's not bad, but I mean, you compare that to any other fucking song that came out at the time, it's probably ranked in the fucking 9,000th that came out in that same year. But yeah, man, it was just fucking looks, aesthetics, and then they took the makeup off, and everybody's like, yeah, we really don't give a fuck about you.
The illusion wore off.
Yeah. The paint started dripping, and they started getting chemical peels because they wore too much paint. So I love it. See, we're bringing the hatred to it, and this is what pulls people in. So no,
I'm down.
Yeah, and Sorry, Kevin's playing Switzerland here, but I mean, it's totally fine. I get it. You don't want people to think that you don't like something. It's totally fine. I get it.
Hey, I'm a people pleaser, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely I have one maybe.
All right.
I don't
Bring
know
me
if
to the dark side. Come on.
I feel like All Time Low maybe.
Yeah.
All Time Low. Great songs though, but
you don't understand why they're as big as they are.
yeah.
All right. So Kevin hates All Time Low and thinks they're absolutely dog shit.
Quote.
There it is. It's all right. Let's bring it to a sadder place. Kevin, what was the last song you cried to?
Oh man, I've been rewatching Lost, and there's this sad ass piano music that plays every time a character dies, and it just gets me every time. It's called Life and Death, and you can look that up if you want.
All right,
But
awesome.
Very
now we
sad.
know how to make Kevin cry on cue.
Yeah.
Jake, how about you? Do you remember the last song you cried to?
I think it was Face Towards the Sun by The Main. It's definitely a song about dying, and that one hit me hard at the time.
Yeah, I know that song. I get it. Mike.
I was getting off the plane from Florida after just being on a cruise with my whole family, and I'm driving home with my fiance, and Living on a Prayer came on, and I was like, I couldn't handle it. It's like, fuck, life sucks.
That was out of left field, and I love it. Fucking the Jovi brought you to tears. I love it.
It's tough when you're just baking in the sun in December, and you get off the plane, and it's 3 days darkness and storms.
The pleasures of living in the Northeast.
Yeah, right.
All right. So here's the end of the world question. Meteors crashing into the earth. You got 5 minutes left to live. What song are you listening to? Jake.
If I'm going to be listening to a song in that 5 minutes, I'm going Slow Dance on the Inside.
All right. Kevin.
Holocene by Bon Iver. It's my favorite song of all time.
Yeah, that's a tearjerker. I used that in my parents' 50th anniversary slideshow, and boy, there was not a dry eye in the house.
So good.
Yeah. Mike.
I would crank my stereo as loud as it could possibly go, open all the windows, and just play "It's the End of the World as We Know It" until I get murdered before the meteor hits.
All right, cool. Third time that's been on this, so yeah. All right, I get it.
It's a popular choice.
Yeah.
Hopefully they get pissed enough to kill me first. I don't want to die from the meteor.
Yeah. All right, so before we going to have one more question before we move on to our weekly 3 segment. So in light of what's been transpiring across the country right now, this is not a question that is taken lightly. So we completely understand, but we've asked this question for many, many times here. And but if there was a fire in your house and your family and everyone got out safely, and you had to go back in and grab one piece of music memorabilia or musical instrument or something, what is the first thing you're grabbing, Jake?
I'm going to grab my guitar that I've had since I was a kid. So it's a Fender Telecaster semi-hollow body. That would be me.
All right. Kevin.
So interestingly, I had a house fire in 2012 and managed to luckily save a ton of stuff. And one of the things that I saved was my Epiphone Les Paul in the case, and they cleaned it up and got it into good shape. And just grateful to have that.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you were able to save that. You're second person on the show that's actually had to do it. So, I'm sorry you had to go through that, and I'm glad you were able to get something out that you loved.
Oh, thank you.
Mike.
For me, I'd have to get my uncle's bass. That's irreplaceable.
Yeah, it's a nice bass.
Awesome. So before we move on, I'd like to give you guys the opportunity right now. I mean, Jake's the better storyteller apparently because but now's the time to tell everybody how to find what it is you guys are doing, how to keep up on everything that you do, like all your fucking handles and all that good stuff that we have to be a part of in this world. So if you'd like to right now, just tell everybody how to find what it is you're doing and how to keep up with you guys.
You're going to want to go to www.mightytortuga.com, and that will lead you to everything in the Mighty Tortuga universe.
And don't forget the HTTP / before you go to that www, people.
Sure. And if you can't handle the WWs, you just hit Google, and it's going to bring you right there to us. And, as for what we got going on right now, we're about to head out on a little spring tour. We're planning some cool stuff for the summer. We got Heading East Festival in Philadelphia on April 19th with all of our label mates, and we're extremely excited for that. And right now we are locked in. We've been working on a new record, and we're hoping to have that out early next year.
Nice. Awesome. Gives us all something to look forward to. But before we move on to our weekly 3 segment, so you guys have time to pull up your Spotify playlist or whatever you've been listening to lately before we move on to that, I just want to give you guys a huge, big, heartfelt thank you for creating the music that made me, want to tell people about you and want to reach out to you and have you here. It's really important what you do. If no one ever gets an opportunity to tell you how important what you're doing is, I'll be the one to tell you it's really important that you're creating music that stupid assholes like me can find and fall in love with and want to talk about and share with people. So thank you so much for all your hard work and creating something pretty special. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, man. That means the world. And we always say, if one person's enjoying it, then we've hit the mark where we want to be. So thank you so much, brother.
You're welcome. But we are into our weekly 3 segment. It is 3 things that you're listening to right now that you would like people to check out. Jake, then Kevin, then Mike. So Jake, you give your 3, and at the end, then I give my 3.
This is a tough one. I don't know if I could pull up Spotify when we're doing the podcast right here, but I would say right now I'm falling down the rabbit hole of 4 Year Strong. I think Dead End Friend, that'd be one of mine. I would say, what else do I got going on here? Dashboard Confessional, Dusk and Summer, I've been bumping for some reason. And then I've been really into the new Taking Back Sunday record, and Keep Going right now is been on a constant rotation for a few months. So we'll go 3 for that.
Nice. Kevin.
I've been listening to a band called From Indian Lakes a lot.
They're
I watched
so awesome.
Awesome.
I got to see them in October. They're fucking great.
Oh, where'd you see them?
Best Friends Forever Fest out in Vegas.
Oh, nice. Yeah, they're great. So them, Nothing Nowhere, a lot of Nothing Nowhere.
Awesome.
And this artist I found, I think it's called Sace 6, SACE 6. He's really good. He's from Long Island, and it just banger after banger. So highly recommend.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mike.
All right. So firstly, I would recommend a little bit of a more lesser known band, but if you heard them, you heard of them. A band called Proto Men. Awesome stuff. I've been jamming them a lot lately. They haven't put out anything new in a long time, but their stuff is just so solid, especially if you're into like a retro kind of vibe. If you haven't checked them out, I mentioned them before, Pendulum. They're just one of my favorite bands ever. They mix like drum and bass with rock and music. So they'll show up to DJ shows as a full band, and it's pretty cool. And I'd say for the last one, just what I've been doing lately, especially if you write music, it's a really good to tell. Just go back in time, put on an 80s playlist. The way they wrote music back then is so much more complex than a lot of stuff that's going on today. And you might come up with some crazy ideas that you wouldn't have thought of.
So I say go listen to Hall & Oates whenever you get a chance. They're a group that will blow your mind, and not because of the songs that you already know of. It's the other stuff that they mixed, fucking jazz and Motown, and it's so fucking good. So, but awesome. That's a good 9 right there. My 3 for this week. First one is a band called Slomosa. They have an album called Tundra Rock. They are Norwegian guitar rock band. As someone said earlier, I think like rock and roll is like dying, but it is straight up guitar, fuzzy guitars, rock and roll. Really good. Second one is Gaffa Tape Sandy. That's Gaffa. If it's British, so you would know Gaffa Tape Sandy. Hold My Hand. God Damn It is the name of the album. It's garage rock from the UK. And last but not least is a band that did 2 albums close to 18 years ago that I just started going through, finding the CD in, yes, a compact disc in my collection and being like, what is this? I forget what this is, and put it on and haven't taken it out all week. It's a band called Deer and the Headlights, and it's Deer, Dear.
We love them.
Yeah, the name of the album is Small Steps, Heavy Hooves. Really awesome band that I was like, I totally forgot what it was and put it on and was like, fuck, why haven't I listened to this in so long? Because it's so good. But those are my band. 3. Well, Jake, Kevin, Mike, again, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for spending some time with us, shedding some light into your world and your life in music, and what you guys got coming up. So we're pretty excited to see some very special things in the future from you. And, couldn't have thought of a better way to spend my night than talking to some 3 chill dudes about fucking music. I mean, it's pretty awesome. But thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Well,
thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Everybody out there, you know what time it is now. It's time to go out, listen to Mighty Tortuga, and have a great fucking time.
Goodbye to the late night scores from the package store that wouldn't check IDs, and the night where we all felt brave, so we danced on graves to bait the local myths and authorities. I'm asking please, if you give me yours, I can give you this. We starve for the muscle cars and the next of kindred stars for which we dream. I wish I could tell you I don't mind. Everything was ready. Take another closer look and you'll find traces of it on your shade or behind. I wish I could tell you I don't mind. Everything was ready. Take another closer look and you'll find traces of it on your shade or behind. Aside from our younger years, we had no
Thanks again for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HiddenTracks99. Also, send all your submissions myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Tune in next week. You may find your new favorite band, and don't forget to go out and have a great fucking time.